What's up, car lovers? Welcome back to the channel, where we dive into all things fast, furious, and fun on four wheels. Today, we're talking about a rivalry as old as time itself, sports cars versus muscle cars. That's right, two legends of the road are going head-to-head in today's episode, and we're going to settle the debate once and for all, which offers the best driving experience. Do you prefer the lightweight, nimble corner-carving action of a sports car? Or are you all about the raw power and torque that muscle cars bring to the table? We're going to dive into performance, handling, design, and that X factor, the feeling you get when you're behind the wheel. Whether you're a sports car fanatic or a muscle car purist, this one's for you. So hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and let's jump into it. Okay, let's start with the basics. What exactly makes a sports car a sports car? Well, there are a few things that really define this category. First off, it's all about balance. Sports cars are designed to be light, agile, and quick on their feet, or, should I say, wheels. They prioritize handling over raw power. You're looking at cars like the Porsche 911, Mazda MX-5 Miata, and Chevrolet Corvette, all vehicles that focus on precision, cornering, and delivering that connected-to-the-road feel. Sports cars excel in tight turns and twisty roads, where their nimbleness really shines. Another key feature? Power-to-weight ratio. Sports cars typically have engines that are perfectly balanced with their lightweight frames. You won't always find insane horsepower numbers here, but because the cars are so light, they don't need it to perform like beasts. The magic is in how that power is delivered and controlled. For example, take the Mazda MX-5 Miata. With just 181 horsepower, it doesn't sound like much compared to today's supercars, but throw it into some corners, and you'll be grinning ear to ear. It's all about the driving experience. Then there's the Porsche 911, which takes things up a notch with its legendary rear-engine setup and razor-sharp handling. This is where sports cars really start to blur the line between performance machines and luxury toys, but it's still all about precision. Lastly, sports cars have a certain style to them. They're sleek, aerodynamic, and built to slice through the air with minimal drag. From Ferraris to Lotuses, you can usually spot a sports car from a mile away thanks to its low-slung, aggressive stance. It's as much about the look as it is the performance. So, to sum it up, sports cars are all about agility, balance, and creating a connection between the driver and the road. They're made for the pure joy of driving, and if you're someone who lives for those tight corners and high-revving engines, a sports car is what you're after. Now, let's switch gears and talk about muscle cars. If sports cars are all about finesse and agility, muscle cars are the hammer in a world full of scalpels. Muscle cars are defined by one thing above all else: power. These cars are built around massive, growling V8 engines that are designed to deliver tons of horsepower and torque. We're talking about vehicles like the Dodge Challenger, Ford Mustang, and Chevrolet Camaro, which have become icons of raw American performance. These beasts thrive on straight-line speed and brute force. The formula for a muscle car is pretty simple. Take a mid-size or full-size car, shove a big V8 under the hood, and let it rip. Muscle cars may not be as nimble as sports cars, but they more than make up for it with sheer acceleration. Muscle cars are built for the drag strip, where quarter-mile times are king. There's something undeniably thrilling about the roar of a muscle car's engine as it launches off the line. That's the kind of power that shakes your bones. One of the key differences between muscle cars and sports cars is that muscle cars often have more weight to them. This can make them feel a bit heavier in corners, but when you're cruising down a straight highway or blasting through a quarter mile, that extra weight gives you a sense of authority. And let's not forget the style of muscle cars. These machines have a distinctive, aggressive look, wide fenders, bold grills, and lots of attitude. When you see a Dodge Challenger rolling up, you know it's a muscle car before you even hear the engine rumble. Muscle cars are also steeped in American automotive history. They came to prominence in the 1960s and 70s with classics like the original Ford Mustang and Dodge Charger. Today, they've evolved into modern muscle cars that combine that old-school charm with cutting-edge performance tech. So, if you're someone who craves raw power and loves the sound of a V8 echoing in your ears, muscle cars are where it's at. It's about straight-line speed, aggressive styling, and that good old American muscle. But the question is, does more power necessarily mean a better driving experience? Let's find out. Alright, now let's get down to the nitty-gritty, performance. This is where the real debate happens. Does a sports car or a muscle car offer the better driving experience? First up, let's talk about speed. On paper, muscle cars typically dominate when it comes to straight-line acceleration. Take something like a Dodge Challenger Hellcat, it has over 700 horsepower. It'll do 0 to 60 in around 3.5 seconds, and that's insane for a car that size. You're not just driving, you're launching into orbit. But here's the thing, while muscle cars can demolish a straight line, they tend to struggle when the road gets twisty. That extra weight and focus on power over handling mean muscle cars aren't exactly built for tight corners. You'll feel it in the steering, muscle cars often have a bit of understeer, and if you're not careful, that power can send you fishtailing around a bend. On the flip side, sports cars are the kings of the corners. Take the Porsche 911, for example, it's engineered to carve through corners like a knife through butter. The balance is perfect, the steering is precise, and the car feels like an extension of you as you maneuver through tight turns. You may not have as much raw horsepower as a muscle car, but sports cars make up for it with their nimbleness. And let's not forget about braking. Sports cars tend to have more advanced braking systems, allowing them to stop on a dime, which is essential when you're taking corners at high speeds. Muscle cars, on the other hand, need a bit more room to come to a halt, especially at higher speeds. So, what's the verdict on performance? It really comes down to what kind of driving you enjoy. If you live for straight-line speed, nothing beats the thrill of a muscle car. But if you want a car that makes you feel like you're dancing with the road, a sports car is the way to go. Okay, let's talk about something that's a little harder to measure, the driving experience. Sure, you can compare stats and lap times all day, but when you're behind the wheel, what really matters is how the car feels. Sports cars give you this sense of connection. Every little input you give, whether it's through the steering wheel or the throttle, feels direct and precise. There's a reason people say driving a Miata is one of the purest driving experiences you can have. It's not about how fast you go, but how you feel while driving. When you're in a sports car, you're part of the machine, and that's something that hardcore drivers love. Muscle cars, on the other hand, are all about power and presence. When you start up a Ford Mustang GT and hear that V8 rumble, it gives you chills. You feel invincible, like you own the road. Muscle cars have this undeniable swagger. They make you feel powerful in a way few other cars can. It's more about the sensation of speed, the thrill of having so much torque at your fingertips. And then there's the nostalgia factor. For many drivers, muscle cars are a link to the golden era of American automotive history. They remind us of a time when cars were built for one thing, fun. Driving a muscle car can feel like you're stepping into a piece of history. So which driving experience is better? Well, that depends on what you're after. If you want precision, agility, and to feel every curve of the road, sports cars win. But if you want a car that feels like it has a soul, one that roars to life every time you hit the gas, muscle cars will give you that rush every single time. So, after breaking it all down, what's the final verdict? Which offers the best driving experience, sports cars or muscle cars? The truth is, it's all about personal preference. There's no right or wrong answer here because both categories offer something incredibly special. If you're someone who lives for agility, precision, and that feeling of being one with the road, then sports cars are your dream come true. They're all about the art of driving. From the lightweight feel to the perfect cornering, sports cars offer a driving experience like no other. But if you want raw, unfiltered power, the kind that makes your heart race and your ears ring, then muscle cars are your ticket. The rumble of a V8 engine, the sensation of flooring it on a straight stretch of highway, and the sheer presence of a muscle car give you a feeling that's hard to beat. In the end, whether you choose a sports car or a muscle car, you're in for an incredible driving experience. It just depends on what makes you smile behind the wheel. So, what's your pick? Let us know in the comments below. Are you team sports car or team muscle car? Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more awesome car content. Until next time, drive fast, but drive safe. Catch you later.